Hey, somebody needs to stock up on candy. You have? Excellent. Good morning, afternoon, or evening. You are listening to The Professional Noticer. Hello, everyone. I'm Andy Andrews. Hey, thank you for making me a part of your week. My purpose here today and with every show we do is to play the part of a best friend or a coach. I want to help you live the life of your wildest dreams by giving you access to the greatest mentors the world has to offer today. This week, the Professional Noticer is sponsored by Books for Veterans. The Veterans Administration in Washington, D.C. has asked for 10,000 Andy Andrews books. Now, I'm personally donating as many as I can, but to reach 10,000, I need your help. What we're able to do to make that easier for you is for every $12 donation you make, a hardback book will be sent to the Veterans Administration for veterans, their families, and for the employees of the VA. That $12 will cover the cost of the book, the shipping and handling, and of course you can purchase one of these awesome Books for Veterans t-shirts, and your purchase will include a book sent in your name. So whether you can make this a personal gift or a corporate donation, just go to andyandrews.com/veterans. This can be added to a website purchase done as an individual entry or in conjunction with a Books for Veterans t-shirt. So thank you very much for your support. Observations and answers, that's what we do here on the Professional Noticer. And today we have a very unusual show. We are often featuring artists and authors and people who have something that they are particularly proud of. And today, we want to present to you something we are particularly proud of that we think you would like to be a part of as well. WisdomHarbor.com is a streaming service that is inexpensive and specifically designed with the intent to create the next greatest generation, starting with your family, with your hometown, and with your school system. If you go to wisdomharbor.com/family, you will see a setup that is an example for you of 10 of the things that are offered on this huge streaming service. And these are really selected for Halloween, since that's where we are today, but you'll see the different types and the different contributors that are available. You'll get to see 10 full-length pieces. Now, today we're going to talk about just what Wisdom Harbour is and give you some examples that you can see, but they won't be the full lineup of things that you can go to wisdomharbor.com/family and watch. As you know, harbors have docks. Harbors are safe places, and Wisdom Harbour is no different. WisdomHarbor.com has maybe 20 docks, 21, 22 different docks. There's the Bet You Didn't Know dock, the audiobook dock, the galley that has cooking, the cabin kids, the salty mugs, the how do I dock, the musicians, the writer's dock, generation conversations. There's question and answer docks, and we have all kinds of contributors. We have the contributors on these are Grammy winners, coaches, comedians, all different kinds. And so we want to give you an idea of what some of these were. On the Bet You Didn't Know doc, which is one of our favorite docs, they always start with Bet You Didn't Know that so-and-so. And there's all different kinds of things that are generally science-related, history-related, or biology-related. And here's an example. Julie Richard is the CEO of Fearless Mom. Julie's from Austin, Texas, one of the funniest people we know. And she is a regular contributor. And in this particular clip, you'll see Julie talking about motherhood.
Bet you didn't know that the octopus is the supermom of the animal kingdom. And not just because they have 8 arms. After hunting for a safe place, she lays anywhere from 50,000 to 200,000 eggs. Then, the prospective mother octopus will remain with her nest until every egg hatches, which can take anywhere between 2 months and 4.5 years. She protects and cares for her eggs by blowing water over them and gently sucking away anything that may harm or cause damage. She eats for only a few days and then begins to fast. Sustained by her incredibly slow metabolism and the frigid temperatures of the ocean floor, she lives the rest of her days protecting her eggs until the very last one is hatched. Yes, the octopus takes motherhood seriously. The emperor penguin mama ranks pretty high on the list of best animal moms too. And maybe it's because she requires the dad to do his part. The mama emperor penguin, wait, can't we call her an empress penguin? Anyway, the mom eats everything in sight between January and March so she can fatten up before beginning the long 30 to 95 mile march across the sea ice to the breeding grounds. Once mating season begins, Mama Penguin produces a single 1-pound egg that she very carefully transfers to Daddy Penguin, who gently places the egg on his feet, covers it with a skin fold, and keeps it warm and cozy for 2 months while Mom heads out to sea to feed. I have to say, this sounds like a good idea. Dad stays home and takes care of the pregnancy while Mom eats out with her friends. Maybe we could try it. I mean, if it works for the penguin. No? Okay. Anyway.
Dan Stone is one of the greatest communicators that I've ever met. He lives in Duluth, Minnesota, and when he's not freezing or shoveling snow, he's contributing to Wisdom Harbour. Here is an interesting, the way I see it, about Newton's Law. Just a clip for you.
For a second, I want to take us back to middle school. And I know you're thinking, no, anything but middle school, one of the most awkward times in our lives. And in school, we memorized a bunch of stuff that we don't remember. I mean, I memorized tons of stuff. Some of it stuck, most of it didn't stick. But remember Newton's laws? There were 3 of them. The first law that we learned of Newton's laws were an object at rest stays at rest. And the science teacher did something to prove that. And an object in motion stays in motion unless acted upon by an outside force, which seemingly has nothing to do with what we were just talking about a moment ago. But in fact, it has everything to do with what we are talking about, because an object at rest will stay at rest. And you've been thinking about it. And so the odds are you're just going to continue to be thinking about it. You've been talking about it. And so the odds are you're going to continue just to be talking about it. You've been planning it and you're going to end up continuing to plan it. But an object in motion will stay in motion unless acted upon by an outside force. It's why we have sayings like, let's get the ball rolling. Why? Because if we get the ball rolling, Newton's law says it's going to continue to roll. It's why there's a saying that says, rolling stones gather no moss. Because once the stone is rolling, it doesn't have time for those hitchhikers to jump on and go with them. The moss stays away because he's continuing to roll.
You might recognize the voice of Armin J. Newton. Armin lives on the West Coast, and he is the voice of the Kentucky Derby. He is the voice of several NBA basketball franchises. And here he is doing a Bet You Didn't Know on the Great Depression.
Bet you didn't know that while the Great Depression was tough, smart people made it one of the most creative times in culinary history. The intoxicating roaring 20s came to a screeching halt when the stock market's inevitable decline prompted panic-stricken people to rush to the banks to liquidate their assets. A lot of those banks couldn't pay up. Enter the Great Depression. With survival now the priority, ingenuity was the order of the day. Livestock feed sacks were used to mend clothing. Rubber tires served to repair shoes, and vacant lots were turned into gardens. But nowhere was this resourcefulness more evident than at the dinner table. It's not that home chefs felt especially inspired during the most financially trying time in American history. Instead, these dishes were born of necessity. Some of the recipes tasted rather good. Others were just, plain awful. But they kept families alive. During trying times, people who are suffering often choose a scapegoat, like someone they can blame. This time, it was the former president of the United States, Herbert Hoover. And to express their displeasure, citizens all over the United States began naming bad things for Hoover. For instance, shack towns all over the country were called Hoovervilles. Homeless people often covered themselves with newspaper. Therefore, newspapers became known as Hoover blankets. Hoover stew was made from a formula of tomatoes, canned corn, and sliced hot dogs with macaroni noodles. Folks also ate what came to be known as the garbage plate, simply a concoction of anything and everything that was left over. During the Depression, nothing went to waste, and odd combinations were encouraged. Mulligan stew, for instance, was a thick soup that, among its other ingredients, also included a generous helping of tobacco. That's right, tobacco. Tobacco, it was said, gave it a kind of a smoky flavor. I bet it did. Okay.
All these pieces are used in schools, and different types of teachers, the different classes and different curriculums are able to use these different things. They're also used with families to create conversations. We find that one of the huge things missing in today's world is conversations between young people and adults. And a lot of that has to do with they don't seem to have anything to talk about. Most of the things that we grew up with, some of us grew up with on television, parents and children could enjoy the same thing. That's not really true today. And so we create with wisdomharbor.com conversational items that you can show a 6 or 7 minute video before dinner, and the family has something to talk about. And speaking of dinner, there is a galley dock, and Wes Hampton. Wes would probably say that he makes dignified food. Wes bakes. He does. Now, Wes is a Grammy-winning vocalist. He's won several Grammys, Dove Awards, and then Bob Woodall is our everyman's chef. I don't know. Is Wes Hampton a chef and Bob Woodall a cook? I don't know. But people sure love both these guys and the recipes that they present.
Hey everybody, this is Wes. Today I will be making one of my all-time favorite desserts. It is fall, and the leaves in Birmingham where we live are absolutely gorgeous right now. It is my favorite time of year. I love it so much. And one of my favorite things about fall is pumpkin bread. And I think what makes this recipe so good is that it doesn't have too many spices in it. Sometimes when I have pumpkin bread, at least, it kind of tastes medicinal. And I think it's because it has clove in it, allspice, too many spices kind of competing with one another. So mine just has cinnamon. And I'm telling you, I'm not saying it's the best, but everybody I've made it for says, oh my gosh, this is the best pumpkin bread I've ever had. Again, I'm not saying it's the best, but other people have been known to say it is the best, okay? I think you will love it, so let's get started. It's very, very easy.
Today, I'm gonna cook my grandmother's, I call it soupy chicken and rice. All right, first thing, we're gonna start with getting our vegetables ready for the chicken and rice. And just a good white, sweet onion, if you get Vidalia in the season. So basically, we're just going to cut this onion. Everybody knows how to cut an onion. Do not cut your fingers. This is the way I do it. It's not perfect. I'm not a trained chef. I'm a country boy cook. But at the end of the day, I can cut an onion, and you can too.
As you might guess, there are things for little kids on wisdomharbor.com. We have a Cabin Kids doc, and here is an amazing story that you have heard that a lot of little kids today haven't heard, created with sound effects, The Three Billy Goats Gruff. Wisdom Harbor Audio presents The Three Billy Goats Gruff by Jorgen Moe, narrated by Andy Andrews. Once upon a time, there were 3 billy goats who were to go up the hillside to make themselves fat, and the last name of all 3 was Gruff. On the way up was a bridge over a cascading stream they had to cross, and under the bridge lived a great ugly troll with eyes as big as saucers and a nose as long as a poker. So first of all came the youngest billy goat Gruff to cross the bridge. Trip, trap, went the bridge. "Who's that tripping over my bridge?" roared the troll.
"Oh, it is only I, the tiniest billy goat Gruff, and I'm going up to the hillside to make myself fat," said the billy goat with such a small voice. "Now I'm coming to gobble you up," said the troll. "Oh no, please don't eat me. I'm too little, I am," said the billy goat. Wait a bit, till the second billy goat Gruff comes. He's much bigger and much tastier."
"Well, be off with you," said the troll. A little while after came the second billy goat Gruff to cross the bridge. Trip, trap, went the bridge. "Who's that tripping over my bridge?" roared the troll. "Oh, it's the second billy goat Gruff, and I'm going up the hillside to make myself fat," said the billy goat, who hadn't such a small voice. "Now I'm coming to gobble you up," said the troll. "Oh no, don't eat me. Wait a little longer while the big billy goat Gruff comes. He's much bigger, and there'll be more of him to eat." "Very well, be off with you," said the troll. But just then, up came the big billy goat Gruff. Trip, trap, went the bridge. The billy goat was so heavy that the bridge creaked and groaned under him. "Who's that tramping over my bridge?" roared the troll. "It is I, the big billy goat Gruff," said the billy goat, who had an ugly, hoarse voice of his own. "Now I'm coming to gobble you up," roared the troll. "Well, come along. I've got 2 horns like spears, and I'll poke your eyeballs out of your ears. Besides, I've got hooves like curling stones, and I'll crush you to little bitty bits and bones." That was what the big billy goat said. And then he flew at the troll and did exactly what he had said he would do. Then tossed what was left of the troll out into the stream. And after that, he went up to the hillside. There the billy goats got so fat they were scarcely able to walk home again. And if they haven't exercised a whole lot, they're still fat to this very day. The end. On the musician's doc or on the How Do I doc, and you know, the How Do I doc has how to juggle, how to shuck oysters, how to make cocktail sauce, how to how to catch crabs. And one of the most popular things is, how do I play the guitar? Jimmy Yeary is an awarded songwriter from Nashville who has written 3 Song of the Years, 14 number one songs. And Jimmy teaches guitar lessons on the How Do I doc with Wisdom Harbour. And it's a whole series. Families are learning together, kids are learning, classrooms are learning. But here's just a clip of a guitar lesson with Jimmy.
A lot of times people want to know the story behind the song, but it was pretty. I was sitting down with David Lee Murphy, and we were talking about politics, which you should never do with anybody. And he just said, "Oh man, everything's going to be all right." And so we took off playing this, and I started a right hand pattern. And I'm going to do that kind of slow. And again, if I was a drummer, so that's the pattern. So practice that, and then we'll just do the song. Now this is going to incorporate. I'm going to be using an A minor, which we've practiced. I'm going to be playing an F in this, and that'll be in here as well, which I refer to as a flat 7, because remember, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and a flat 7 is the full chord behind what you're playing in. I'm in G, so the flat 7 would be the F. So yeah, G, C, D, and we'll incorporate the A minor and the flat 7, which is the F. So again, rattled the ice in my plastic cup. I said, yes, ma'am, fill her up. Tell me something good that I don't know. Well, this world's been kicking my behind. Life ain't been a friend of mine. And lately I've been feeling kind of low. Well, she looked back over her shoulder, pointed at the sign everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Nobody's gotta worry about nothing. Don't go hitting that panic button. It ain't near as bad as you think. Everything's gonna be alright. Alright.
Yeah, I mentioned the musicians doc. Our musicians are, it's tough to get a place as a contributor on the musicians doc. Gordon Mote is probably the most in-demand keyboard player in the world in the studio. Over 100 number one hits he's been on, 75 more that have been in the top 10. Check out this with Gordon Mote.
Okay, so it looks like you're filling in the first verse. That's what it's saying, right?
Sure.
Because it's got like a whole bracket of like.
This is the mystery of the pass around. Is what this is.
Right.
You know, we're not all in the same room.
And the first two bars of the honky tonk has a like an eighth note thing written out, and then the
da 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 da. That's the
And the eighth bar has it written out.
1, 2, and 3.
Okay, do I fill the first verse?
Yeah.
I'm right off the top?
Off the top, baby. And there's a piano solo coming, so you just hold on.
Wow.
Then after that is piano solo time.
Oh my goodness.
And you have 16 bars. But does it switch to guitar? The guitar, okay, it looks like there's more than one solo. Here's piano, first half on solo 1. Guitar, second half is solo 1, I think is what it meant to be said.
Okay.
Steel and fiddle on solo.
Okay, so it does get fiddle and steel. That's the question that I had.
Essentially, if you go 1, 2, 3, 4, he's got 1, 2, 2, 2 for the solos. So if it goes piano, electric, and then the next time around steel and fiddle, and then it looks like
as long as I know where I'm supposed to fill and solo, that's all I care about.
Yeah, tag is 6 bars. And you want to hear it down there?
Sure, I'd love to.
Watch this.
1,
I like whiskey. I can find.
Bum, 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 bum.
That's that 8th bar.
5, 4 sharp, 4th, flat 3. Okay. Well, I hope I can remember that. Okay, keep going.
5. Yeah, that's right.
Bam,
Sharp 4.
bam, bam, bam.
7 something. 7 flat.
No, it's written wrong. It's a 5, 4 sharp, 4, flat 3.
Okay.
That's what I
flat
thought.
3.
Right
Yes.
there. Oh, push. Those are odd bars. Oh, solo, this is me, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's just go do it. I hadn't heard it all, but it shouldn't be too difficult. Let's just go play it.
So you're just hearing that one time, Gordon, and you're doing it?
Well, I hadn't even heard it all the way through, but it can't be too difficult, and we can punch our way to success if I mess up something, or if there's a lick that I haven't heard yet. But it's just like, it's honky tonk. How hard can it be? You know. And if we were really in a bar and we were really playing it, we might not all play the same thing anyway. You know, so I mean, for the record, I will play the same thing everybody else is playing, but part of the honky tonk thing is just to be sloppy.
Here's the count off.
Good luck to me.
Good luck.
I like whiskey. I can find.
Okay, it's 11 and then 55. Okay, after I got all the pushes though. Go back a couple bars. The beauty of doing pass arounds is you can punch your way to success. You can do it as many times as you want to, and nobody ever knows how long it took you to get it. Or in this case, you don't even have to listen to the whole song. You can just, it's like, okay, it's honky tonk. Really, that's what it is. So, just kind of listen to it, learn it as you go, and then you have it. So it's like, it's both ways. It's like, I do overdubs, and some of them aren't pass around. Some of them are just like, okay, I got this single, like even for like, I just did a Blake Shelton thing for his TV show. And so they just brought me the track because they didn't think they needed keyboards on it, but they got it done. And Scott Hendricks, his producer, said, hey, I think I need some B3 on this. So, they brought it to me and I did it. And it's kind of like I was done in 5 minutes, but they don't know that. They think I really worked hard on it. You know what I mean? But then sometimes it should be so easy and I suck and I just can't get it. And so, but they don't know. They think, oh man, that's great. But they don't know how bad I struggled. So, it can go both ways. I can do it better. Here we go. I hope I can. Like 2 bars before the solo.
Another regular on the Musician's Dock is Mike Rayburn. Mike Rayburn teaches innovation with guitar.
You know, I'm guessing for some of you, that's a totally different way of playing the guitar than you've seen before. I mean, traditionally, the guitar is played either by using a pick like this and strumming, or picking, or by using your fingers and finger picking. For 500 years, the guitar and its predecessors, the vihuela and the lute, were all played the same way. Then one day, someone was probably, messing around and thought, what if I could play without picking or strumming? And after experimenting for a while, that person discovered that you can actually make sound by striking or tapping the string over the fret you want, like this. Well, this opened a whole new vista of possibilities because it frees your fingers to play two different parts at the same time, much the way a piano player does. For instance, watch this while I play a melody line with the left hand, and then I'll bring in a bass line with the right hand.
And then there are some of our favorites, Sugarcane Jane, Anthony and Savannah. They burn up the Americana charts, and they're on Sirius and Spotify. You can hear them almost everywhere, but you can see them and really have conversations with them on wisdomharbor.com to find out how they do what they do. Anthony toured with Neil Young for years. He has written songs that have been recorded by Kenny Rogers, Dolly Parton, Vince Gill, Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, Dwight Yoakam, and tons of people. But check out Sugarcane Jane.
Headed south, taking all out run to the arms of a woman, had a daughter and a son. Who built us a house and the dirt roads in. That's just how this story begins. With no regret to the past I claim. Started a band called Sugarcane Jane. La 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 la.
You know, in my career, I have had the pleasure of playing with some fantastic artists, and Neil Young being one of them, and probably the one that I feel like I put most of my life into with Neil. And the feeling I had when we were on stage, packed house, you know, sometimes we played at big festivals where hundreds of thousands of people were in the crowd. And then other nights it was just a small night, 17,000, you know. But the fact is it was just so much fun. And I was only 24 years old. And I'm on the stage with this rock icon. And I look back at it now, I'm 65 years old. And at the time, Neil was 35 and I was 24, you know. And he used to sing this song. It goes like this a little bit. I love that. Oh man, look at my life. I'm a lot like you were. You know, he would get to that point. You know, 24 and there's so much more. And, you know, I live alone in a paradise that makes me think of you. I used to love when Neil would be singing that. And I was up front with him at that time. I was standing right up there. I had my own microphone. It was me and Neil and the rest of the band in the back, baby. It was unusual to have that type of position, you know. I'm 24 years old, and gosh, I had done nothing to deserve that, to me, in my mind. I was a green stick, and I was blessed with that opportunity, which it did. It made me into the life I've had, and it's been so much of a good ride for me.
The content barge lands on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Now, you can go check out anything you want 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on wisdomharbor.com, but there is specific new content that comes out on Wednesdays and Saturdays. One of the times that we really look forward to is when there's a generation conversation coming out, where we take a couple of our contributors from generations, different generations, put them together and let them talk. And on this one, you look at just a clip of this. This is Emily Isbell and Dr. Mark Foley. Emily Isbell, right before she was about to get married, and she's a Gen Z, and Mark Foley, who is a baby boomer, and Dr. Mark is a doctor of psychology. So this is a generation conversation. Just a little clip of this, Keys to a Lasting Marriage.
We had discussed tradition, and you're saying, okay, let's maybe not look at it as it's tradition. And I like that idea, because the traditional way of doing it comes from, as far as I know, women used to not have the same freedoms that we do currently. And I think that's how this concept was originated, is asking permission to marry, but for a different reason than out of respect or
and you know, I think that's a conversation maybe for another thing about traditions. That would be a neat one.
That
neat
would
topic
be cool,
for you to
wouldn't it?
explore.
Yes.
But I really like the idea. By the way, when I hear the word tradition, it makes me kind of jittery, because a lot of traditions are in place only to support the tradition itself.
Right.
The reason for it has long been since lost.
The purpose is
so, which is why I think I go back to the purpose. What's the purpose of soliciting the blessing of parents upon two children who wish to be married?
Yeah.
And not just one set of parents, both sets. And it preserves family, and that's, I think, worth the effort.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's a beautiful way to look at it. And I like the idea of preserving family, and I also like getting everybody on board, everybody being involved.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be things that you need those parents for, you know, like having a child for the first time. You need those grandparents.
Yeah, what do I do with this?
Answering your phone call at 3 a.m. Hey, what do I do? It just feels weird, you know.
That's right, and that's why you want families headed toward one another, not away from one another.
Yes.
Because that networking is important, and the reinforcement. Basically, it's an extension of love and care and respect.
On the audiobooks, Doc, we see a lot of action, because families and classrooms really get together on this audiobooks, Doc. There you can hear Call of the Wild, Robinson Crusoe, Mark Twain stuff. You get modern stuff and older classic things that are done in a style that you can actually understand. I mean, we have retranslated some of these classics like Robinson Crusoe. It was written 200 years ago, and we've translated into modern language. It doesn't change the story at all, it just makes it easier to listen to. And then there's the holiday, Doc, where we have all different kinds of written word, audio, and video. And one of our particularly favorite pieces is Bill and Gloria Gaither, contributors for wisdomharbor.com, that together are presenting 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. Look at a piece of this.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there.
The children were nestled all snug in their beds, with visions of sugar plums danced in their heads, and Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled down for a long winter's nap.
When out on the lawn there rose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash. tore open the shutters, and threw up the sash.
One of the other docs is a question and answer doc. And there are questions being asked by you that are being answered by our contributors. And these question and answers are about parenting, marriage, money, your own business, leadership, at work situations. And a lot of our contributors, including myself and Dave Ramsey, are answering these questions. The Salty Mug Doc is a one-on-one specific to a situation that one might come into, an argument with a spouse, time to just get a story, but it's a one-on-one. And let us show you what we mean by a Salty Mug Doc. This is Briley Krisafi, and she's discussing how come bad things happen to good people.
There's definitely not any one good answer. I mean, everybody at some point or another has to deal with suffering. I certainly have. And I know for a fact I will again. So I guess it comes down to, learning how to suffer well. And that sounds funny, but there's this thing my mom says to me a lot. It's a really good image. Helps me get through those times where it just feels like bad things are happening to good people. She says people are like diamonds, and I think that's so true. First of all, they're all completely unique and invaluable, but they're multifaceted. There's not any one thing that makes up a person. It's all the intricate little elements that contribute to who they are. Diamonds don't start out as diamonds, though. They start out as coal. And they only get to be diamonds by going through immense heat and pressure and chiseling. Well, I think really the diamond is, what we're aiming for. Every single day, I know I want to be improving as a person. I want to be becoming the person that I'm supposed to be. And so, if we're anything like the diamonds, well, we're not born being the version of ourselves we're meant to be. We couldn't possibly know everything there is to know right off the bat. There wouldn't be a point to life. We're just born as the coal. Precious coal. But coal that needs a lot of heat and pressure and chiseling to get to where they're really meant to be.
Now, you're watching the Professional Noticer podcast right now, but on the wisdomharbor.com streaming service, you get to watch the Professional Noticer without all the ads you might get on YouTube and Facebook. And there are also some podcasts hosted by Gordon Mote with other celebrities and other people who are contributing. So wisdomharbor.com/family is where you go to see the 10 full pieces that we have curated for you. And again, they wrap around Halloween, since that's the day we're on right now. But we've got a smattering, a different, kind of a buffet of 10 different pieces that we think you'll enjoy. And so have a good time with it. It's wisdomharbor.com/family. Go there now. And remember, this will be a great Christmas present. This will be a great Thanksgiving present. It's $27.99 for the year for an individual, and just a little more than that for a family with up to 8 devices. And so for your school, for your child, for you, wisdomharbor.com. Join now. I'm Andy Andrews, the Professional Noticer, harnessing common sense and wisdom to plow through challenges all the way to an answer for you. And I think that'll do it for this week. Get us out of here, Matthew. So, ladies and gentlemen, and to the boys and girls who aspire to become ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of another episode of The Professional Noticer. In a world where common sense has become a superpower, I'm harnessing that tiny bit of mental energy I have for you, seeking wisdom, making observations, and endeavoring to answer tough questions in a way that will empower your family and your business. I'm Andy Andrews. Until next week, goodbye. This episode of The Professional Noticer was produced by Matt Limpert. The Noticer theme written and performed by Sugarcane Jane. Wax harmonicas for the cast and crew provided by Twinkle and Smoke of Beverly Hills. Additional financial consideration provided by prankvideohistory.net. Mom, Dad, do you remember the Halloweens of your childhood? Can you recall how you would say trick or treat, but not really care which one they chose? If it was treat, you got the candy, but if they chose trick, the night got a lot more interesting. Toilet paper in trees, soap on windows, firecrackers in mailboxes, potatoes in exhaust pipes, and eggs on doors. Introduce them all to your children with prankvideohistory.net. Our exclusive streaming service is the only way they will experience the thrill of these pranks in today's world, because if they tried them themselves, they'd be going to jail. We have archives of extensive pranks delivered in color with sound, starring the younger version of doctors, judges, ministers, and teachers. All pranks pulled before the neighbor's impulse was to call the police. It's the only way for your children to experience a real Halloween without gaining a juvenile record. So keep the family home this holiday and enjoy prankvideohistory.net. It's Halloween without the cleanup or the jail time.